This weekend's YCS has left this community no short of hilarity. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us. In the early days of the YCS on Saturday, all of the accounts that I were reading about were going, wow, Lunalight's such an unfair deck, like Lunalight is just so broken. I can't believe this. I've read at least 10 reports on people reporting on their rounds that they just got absolutely punched in the face by Lunalight. And respectfully so at this point, shouldn't you be prepared for Lunalight? I have a feeling kind of what happened here was people decided to take up the helm, go to these YCSs this weekend, and not a single person in this entire community, besides maybe one or two, had done any testing against Lunalight. I have a feeling most people just looked at Lunalight, said, oh, this is a meme deck, nobody's actually going to play this garbage, who's going to play a Towers deck, it's not consistent. And then they just run into Lunalights, and then they're just like, wow, I can't believe this. I can't. And they're just totally, they go on life tilt. Like, they just totally flip on their side and they're just spinning around in circles. Like, that's what I'm getting out of this weekend's YCSs. Now, obviously, I guess going forward, if you guys are losing to this deck, you have kaijus, you have sphere modes, you have lava golems. You have these cards that you can play to try to counteract the boss monster syndrome. You've also got things like, Destructed Daruma Cannon to force these things off the field. It's just, if you're seeing this boss monster, you don't have a lot of time to react. You have to do it pretty much simultaneously, or, that double attack is just going to end your day. Obviously, you do have things like Bestials to bump the monsters out of the graveyard and kind of control that way. I guess just with the way that the format is right now, I guess people just are not acknowledging or wanting to acknowledge the fact that this is is a good thing. I don't know. I don't know why people are surprised that Lunalight's a real deck. I think that people just were not really prepared for this scenario. But hey, man, it is what it is at this point. Maybe now you'll be more aware of the Lunalights doing their job. Let's talk about the Xyz Universe Kali King Yuga situation that popped up on stream. So from what I have been reading from the community, evidently there was an Xyz Universe that was activated during stream that ended up using a Rafflesia to feed off of, or to feed into the universe. Now, Xyz Universe says target 2 face of Xyz monsters, send both to the graveyard, and there's also an Xyz monster from the extra deck, except a number monster whose rank is equal to or 1 less than the combined original ranks of the 2 Xyz monsters. And if you do, attach this card to that card as a target. Now, for those of you that do not know, Rafflesia of the Trap Tricks has a very nice, unique line of text on it that says unaffected by trap effects while it has material. Now, obviously, based on our best ruling knowledge, if this thing has a material, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to get the chance to Xyz Universe it off of the field. Unfortunately, an incident happened. Xyz Universe resolved, ate a Rafflesia, made a Kali King Yuga. It is what it is. At the pro level of Yu-Gi-Oh!, misplays happen all the time. But Xyz Universe as a tech choice right now is a very interesting one. This would not be something that I would really want to consider playing in the modern times because, what are we really worried about? I guess, they got the scenario that they were looking for. If you're playing, a rank 4 turbo deck and you're able to, use your opponent's rank 4 turbo stuff to help you out, then I guess, that's the scenario. But I guess you also maybe had factored in maybe people weren't going to be really prepared for this weekend's YCS, and you might have had an opportunity to score some points on that front. I mean, that's highly possible. I don't think that Xyz Universe feels like a good tech choice right now. But I guess resolving a Kali King Yuga to turn skip your opponent on their turn, depending on the matchup, but you're preparing for such a weird matchup. Like, that's so weird. Exodia. So, one of the coolest feature matches that I got the chance to see out of this YCS for day one was watching Exodia smash through Vanquish Soul. Now, is this going to turn into a, well, actually, Exodia is one of the best decks that you can play? No. That is not the scenario. I am saying that, once again, you've got people that are kind of doing the Lunalight thing out here, where you're not respecting a boss monster that can set a board wipe, that can secret village lock you, and just, once again, you go on life tilt and you start spinning around in circles on the floor crying because you're just like, what's going on here? That's why are people not like respecting board wipes right now? Why is it that most of what I'm getting out of this is people are just, they're like, oh, you know, like this deck, I'm not going to lose to a board wipe. Nobody's playing board wipes right now. And then Exodia obliterates you. You got Lunalights flinging, you know, things out of their extra deck at the opponent, you know, board wiping these things. Mitsurugi is bringing back their big boss monster, wiping the field. You're in a format right now, people, where your field's going to keep getting detonated. You're going to keep having these cards getting spinned off the field. And I don't know. I didn't think that Exodia was a real metagame contender this format. But I will say, watching the deck functionally play out, watching, you know, the spell and trap control, I do think right now, controlling your opponent's spells and traps is probably one of the most important aspects of this current format that you can try to do. Obviously, you know, yeah, monsters are going to be problems, but, you know, with Mitsurugi kind of running around, you know, if you can control their ritual aspect of things and try to keep them off of, like, the prayers and some of that is, obviously, you know, they tribute for cost. I mean, they will get some sort of triggering on some of the stuff, but, you know, you do have things to kind of think about with that. So I didn't expect Exodia. Now, I've already kind of branched into my next point here, which was going to be good old Mitsurugi. This one, Mitsu has kind of turned into, I think, one of the most surprising factors out of this weekend. I'll probably make another video on this after post-YCS results. But I think I read a very, very interesting post from a duelist earlier that was just like, pure Mitsurugi were my two big losses this weekend. And they're talking about how the deck feels massively unfair. Now, I hate to tell you this, but nothing has changed between last format's Mitsurugi list and this format's Mitsurugi list, except for they lost King of the Fair Limbs. And at this point in time, with the shift of Vanquish Soul out of the format, which I think was one of the, honestly, it might have been one of the things pushing this deck back, even though they had a decent matchup against Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul getting kind of pushed down a little bit, allowed Mitsurugi a chance to kind of come back to the forefront here and to actually showcase that the deck's options, the toolbox, explosiveness that you could have. This deck definitely has all of the potential that you wanted to see. And I think Konami actually kind of shaped this format in a way to allow Mitsurugi to kind of stand at the top. You know, if you're really looking at this format and you're just not looking at Mitsurugi as a real deck, then I think you're not really looking at truly understanding the way that this format is right now. Because Mitsu, you've got Yummy, you got Lunalight. I mean, Vanquish Soul. I mean, you've got a lot of good, strong contenders right now that are doing things. It's just, if you're not really looking at this format and trying to understand why things are the way they are, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good format, though, I will say. I'm not a big fan of Mitsu, but that's just me. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.